In the world of business, leaders are often taught to make the tough calls and separate winners from losers. We live by metrics, performance reviews, and quarterly results. But what if the highest form of leadership wasn't about separating and labeling at all? What if real leadership came from suspending judgment and allowing a greater wisdom to emerge? I have owned businesses, managed teams, and served in multiple leadership roles, including pastoring several congregations across the U.S. Over the years, I've faced the full spectrum of leadership challenges, the pressure to perform, the frustration when a project stalls, and the temptation to rush to judgment when an employee or business partner falls short or simply isn't a team player. In today's culture of constant evaluation, performance reviews, metrics, and endless comparisons, it's almost second nature to let the ego take the lead. The ego's default response is judgment. Who's at fault? Who needs to be corrected? Yet genuine leadership calls for something deeper. The real CEO within doesn't react. It pauses, observes, and leads from clarity rather than critique. When we notice that impulse to judge, we're given a choice to follow the ego's well-worn path of blame or to step back and lead from a higher place, one that sees beyond the moment's mistake to the shared purpose that unites the team. This is where A Course in Miracles offers a radical, practical perspective. Reading from Workbook Lesson 243, Today I will judge nothing that occurs. Modern leadership culture prizes decisiveness. Yet much of that decisiveness is fueled by judgment. Who is talent and who is dead weight? Which ideas are good and which are bad? Which employees are assets and which are liabilities? But judgments like these, the Course suggests, aren't based on truth. They're based on perception. And perception is always partial. We see fragments, not the whole. When leaders judge too quickly, they risk narrowing possibilities and closing off creative solutions. Judgment doesn't just hurt individuals, it creates an atmosphere of fear. Teams under judgment stop innovating and start protecting themselves. So how does a leader move forward without judgment? Isn't judgment necessary? The Course helps us see the difference between judgment and discernment. Judgment is the ego's verdict, labeling someone or something as good or bad, worthy or unworthy. Discernment is spirit's clarity, seeing what is useful, what leads to love and peace without condemnation. A leader practicing discernment can say, "This approach isn't aligned with our mission," without making it an attack on the person who suggested it. That creates safety, not fear. I've seen leaders transform conflict simply by reframing employees not as problems, but as people carrying lessons, for them and for the team. The Course introduces a profound tool, the holy instant. It's a pause where we let go of ego reactions and ask for guidance from a higher place. In business terms, this looks like taking a breath before answering a heated email, pausing for silence before giving feedback, asking internally, am I seeing this situation through fear or through love? This small pause is leadership gold. It moves us from reactive choices to inspired ones. Course says the holiest of all the spots on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love. What if leadership was defined not by separating the good from the bad, but by turning division into connection? The manager who reconciles a long-standing feud between departments. The CEO who turns a disgruntled customer into a loyal advocate by truly listening. The leader who replaces punishment with restoration. This isn't weakness, it's the highest strength. It requires courage to step out of the ego's courtroom and into spirit's classroom. So, here are practical takeaways for leaders. This is a 3-minute practice for leaders. Pause before responding to an email, leading a meeting, or giving feedback. take one deep breath. Silently say, am I seeing this through fear or through love? If you notice judgment rising, frustration, blame, defensiveness, choose to let it go, even briefly. Say, I will judge nothing that occurs. Try this once a day in your leadership role. Over time, you'll notice less stress, clearer decisions, and more authentic connections with your team. Here is a team exercise called the No Judgment Roundtable. Use this at the start of a meeting to shift the energy from stress to openness. Set the frame, say, for the next 10 minutes, we'll share without judgment. No labeling ideas as good or bad, we're just listening. Then go around, each person shares one thought, challenge, or idea. No interruptions, no critiques. Then reflect after everyone shares. Ask, what did we hear that opens up new possibilities? Then end with a pause of silence or one sentence of gratitude for the team. This practice builds safety, fosters creativity, and models what the Course calls joining instead of separating. True leadership isn't about control or being the smartest one in the room. It's about creating the conditions for miracles, moments when fear gives way to love and judgment gives way to joining. When you as a leader choose to suspend judgment, even for one meeting, one decision, one conversation, you create space for something greater than yourself to work through you. That is the CEO within. Next time you face a leadership challenge, pause and ask, am I willing to see this differently? That single question can turn a tense boardroom into a holy instant where solutions arise that no one thought possible. Because the best leaders don't just manage, they transform.